Hello, Cleve. It's really nice to meet you again. Um, you do lots of things in music, but I think at the moment you're part of organising the Limetree Festival.
Yes, I am. It's the third year now. 2 years ago, I met Sean Birdsall and Karen, who are the directors, and I went actually as a musician, but was so impressed with their attitude and what they were trying to achieve with the festival that I accepted an invitation to come on board and help out, and I have ever since. And I think it's, I mean, I love playing music, but this is something I really do believe in as well, which is giving people a great chance to enjoy some wonderful music and atmosphere.
Yeah, and there's lots of good bands coming along to play as well.
Oh yeah, we've got all sorts of bands. I mean, in the past we've had nicknames. This year we have people like the James Taylor Quartet, the Blockheads, who were Ian Jury's former backing band. We have Craig Charles, who's a Radio 6, BBC Radio 6 a DJ who's come in and supporting us up there as well. We've got Selector. There really are a real cross-section of bands and great cross-section of music as well.
Great, and we've got a choir. Your choir coming as well.
Ah, yes, now that's the coup de grace. Yeah. Last year, we really did have a great time on the Sunday night, which is where my band plays. But what we're going to do is, instead of having lots of artists come and join us as they did last year, we're going to bring the choir on as a part of the Chunky but Funky set. This choir's been going since April. We've only done a couple of gigs so far. We rehearse in this building every Tuesday. And it's a thing that I really do believe in, that people, it's not about the greatest voices and the greatest voices. It really is about a heart full of joy, and if you've got that, then we're the place you need to be. So the choir will be singing there at Limetree the very last thing on Sunday night, so they have a very important position to fulfil.
Fantastic. Do you want to ask a question, Denis?
Well, just the thing that impressed me most was your teaching skills. How did you develop that?
Wow. I think I have to say I've been really lucky. My parents were both, they were staunch Pentecostal Christians, which has both good and bad to it, depends on which side of it you're on, but they really allowed me, because of the environment I was in, to develop as a musician. It was encouraged singing. I can generally remember as a child not having a television, but coming home from church on a Sunday, and what we'd do after dinner is we'd all sit around the piano and we'd sing songs, and each of us would get a chance to play and just sing. And I think it was that early interaction with my parents that made me realise singing was all right. It was a good thing to do, and because I grew up in choirs and groups, it seemed very natural to me to take the things that I'd learned along the way and to be able to pass them on. And I just think I didn't go to school for it, and I don't. Maybe there are areas maybe I could be better, but I genuinely believe that if something's been passed on to you, some sort of skill, and not just singing, it could be anything, it could be a craft or something, your duty is really to make sure that the next generation don't lose that skill. So I actively encourage people to sing, and particularly young people, which I ran a choir around the school for 7 years, and I suppose if there was any teaching element in it, then that would be, that was the longest that I had one sort of group of people. But I do really believe that it's just really passing on skills that I'm a part of.
Yes, well, out of those pupils that you've taught, has any gone on, to become
Um, Probably not so much.
semi-famous, well known?
Yeah, I understand totally what you're saying. Not so much the ones I've taught, but I do have to say that the Leeds community has some amazing musicians, and it really does have some brilliant musicians around here. And I was very lucky to, during the years I've been running with my band, I worked with Corinne Bailey-Ray. In fact, I remember her, the very first gig she did with me, her husband Jason was a sax player. Unfortunately, he's passed away. He was the sax player in the band that I played in. So Corinne sang with us for probably, maybe 3 years or so before she struck out and got a record deal. And I still see it this way. I view it as a part of an education. If you stay in one place all the time, you're not growing. It's important that you grow, you move on, and that to me was probably one of the greatest joys I've seen, is somebody develop and become, an international star. And believe me, there is no diva thing about her. She's just the way we're talking. She talks to us here now.
Yeah.
But it was really lovely being a part of that and watching someone develop. But there are young people. In fact, I did a gig at the Wardrobe on Saturday, and there were young people there who were in the choir who are at university now who still come to the gigs to come and see us play. So it feels worthwhile, and that something's been generated along the way.
So it seems to be building your own family in musicians, don't you?
I specifically say to the choir every week, and I make a point to them, I say, this is your family. It is definitely a family, and just like any other family, we have squabbles and carrying on and stuff like that, but there is a common aim and a common purpose. And I kind of see myself, I'd say this probably not from an age point of view, but I am the fatherly figure amongst them. But it's really just because I believe I can generate, or help to generate, a spirit and a sound which exists within the choir, just needs bringing together, and that's a part of the skill that I have, is bringing people together to create the sound.
So getting back to the Limetree Festival, who you're going to be headlining at the end, how excited are you at choir?
Oh, so excited. I have to say, it was, when the thought came to me, because it was just as part of the remit of working on the committees, you know, I have kind of responsibilities for some of the scheduling and where we do and what we do. And I really looked at it and thought, this would be so different. This is a choir that was developed solely with the purpose of singing for joy. There was nothing else on the agenda. And right from the beginning, and when I explained to them what we were doing, the attitude and the cooperation was fantastic. And in fact, of the 3 events that we had one last weekend, one this weekend, and one next weekend. That was the one that I got the most amount of names for. So I think they must have been really excited about it, really excited. And they get to be a part of a great thing, a part of a festival. They can go and listen to other bands and other artists and be a part of it. And I think it's great.
What about support? How easy is it to find support, financial?
For the festival, I have to say, we the first year, Sean would probably, and I'm speaking on his stead here now, would probably tell you that none of us knew what we were doing. We just had a cause and thought it was a great idea and absolutely went for it. I think genuinely, in the last year of organising, we've kind of realised that we have got something special here, and that if we work together to make it work, it can do. But support is needed from all corners. We don't have big corporate sponsors. We're competing against festivals which are far bigger in size, and when I say competing against them, we're not trying to take anything from them. We're just trying to do something a little different. But I think most people recognise that this is not about us making a fortune, at least not right now. So I think genuinely we're just trying, honestly, just to put our effort and our time into it, and it may, in some instances, it's probably cost us more than we've earned, but I don't think anyone who's been to the festival, if you speak to them genuinely, will tell you that they've walked away from there and felt in any way robbed of anything. And in fact, they've come away feeling enhanced.
I believe you've played at the West Indian Carnival.
Yes, I have. I have played there a few times, and last year in particular was very memorable. We played on the Sunday morning, I think it was, and the Sunday is like a day full of concerts. They have lots of music acts and stuff, and I love it. It's a kind of it feels like a little coming home, because I lived in the area for so many years, and a lot of the steel bands and little groups I've played with, some of those musicians that I've played in them. But it's a great thing. I love it just simply because it's there for people to enjoy themselves. And in an age where at times I feel like we're being robbed of our enjoyment, it feels nice to be able to do something that's really enjoyable, and all the colour and the pageantry and the tradition that comes with it. I mean, a lot of people don't realise that the West Indian Carnival is actually older than the Notting Hill Carnival, which is the one that's got all the plaudits in many ways.
That so irritates me when the media go on about the Notting Hill and how old it is, and they don't mention Leeds.
Yeah, the Leeds, I have to say, the Leeds ones, I'm representing Yorkshire.
So, in the last minute, tell everybody why they should be going up to Limetree.
Number one, if you just love having a good time without any strings attached, if you like meeting people, if you enjoy company, if you like good music, if you like great attitudes, if you kind of disdain attitude and haughtiness and that celebrity culture, then I would say to you, the Limetree is the perfect place for you to spend your bank holiday weekend. Lots of choices, but I promise you this one thing, you will not leave there and not realise that once you've left there, that you've really, really been a part of something extremely special.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.